Hello, lovelies. Good evening. Hope you are doing well. Um, so glad that you could join me this evening. As you're joining, just go ahead and give me a like or a comment and just to say hello so I know you're there. And we'll go ahead and get started. First of all, I just want to thank you all so much who have been participating in the Authentic Storytellers group. That has been so fabulous, and I've really enjoyed getting to know all of you so much through this process and getting to see a little bit more about what your goals are and what you're struggling with. And that's just been an amazing experience. So if you're joining and you don't have if you aren't a part of that group yet, I will be posting the link to that Facebook group community in the comments after we're done. So as I mentioned last week and in my various Facebook posts, tonight we are going to be talking about goal setting and specifically how to make those goals really measurable and practical so that you can make the most of 2018 and really see the momentum and the success that you're wanting to see in your writing business. So today, the last few that we've been doing the last couple weeks are focused on writing craft, and the talk today will be focused more on writing business. For those of you who may not know me or be familiar with what I do, my name is Katie Phillips. I'm a writing coach and writing craft and entrepreneur coach. Hi, Margaret. So nice to see you. Glad you could join. Got to chat with that lovely lady today. That was fabulous. Picking her brain a little bit so I know how to serve y'all better. So as I was saying, I am a writing, craft, and career coach, and I help women author entrepreneurs who are struggling to refine their craft and launch their business, find clarity and breakthrough so they can make those dreams a reality. And I love what I do. So let's go ahead and get started. One of the things that I noticed as I was talking to several people in the Facebook group and on my Facebook page, KDP Creative, is that when I was asking for your goals for 2018, the goals tended to be very broad. And while that is definitely a great place to start, that can also be very overwhelming as well, right? So maybe your goal for 2018 is I want to finish this manuscript, or I want to get this book published, or I want to find an agent. Those are all great things. It's important to have those kind of in your mind. But we're going to break that down a little bit more and try and make those a little more action-oriented, because the trouble with broad goals is it's really hard to get accountability with that, and to make sure that you're making consistent progress and seeing consistent growth in that as well, so that every week, every month, you can look at your goals and make sure that you're doing what needs to be done to make those goals a reality. So today is going to be a little bit different as well, in that there's going to be a bit of a workshop approach. If you have questions as we go along, go ahead and throw them in the comments. I'll be watching there. So if you need clarification on something, go ahead and throw those in there. And then I'm also going to give you a little bit of time as I ask each question to write down your answer and workshop this a little bit as well. So keep that in mind. Pull out your pen and paper or your computer or whatever you want to take notes with, and we will go ahead and get started. Is that clear? Thumbs up from everyone, making sense so far? Okay, and I mentioned this earlier, but if you're just now joining, feel free to say hello in the comments or give a like or whatever, so that I know who is joining us tonight. Hello, thank you. So lovely to have you. So what I'd like you to start with writing down is your top 10 goals for 2018. Okay, so right now we're just going to brain dump a little bit. Hi, Amy. So nice to see you here. Lovely to have you. So go ahead and write down your top 10 goals for 2018. Hello, Susan. Lovely to see you. And that can be anything from what to publish a book to I would like to sell this many copies to I'd like to make this monetary amount on my writing. Whatever those are, go ahead and write them down now. Just scribble them down so you kind of get those out. And then as you're doing that, or when you're finished, what you're going to do is you're going to look over those and you're going to look for kind of the connection points. Hello, Emily. So lovely to have you. Thanks for joining us. So when you're going through your goals or your top 10 goals for 2018, go through and look for connection points. So what are things that are actually different steps of the same overall goal? What are things that could be combined? So start looking at that and thinking through that. How's everyone doing? Doing all right? Making sense so far? Okay. So once you have your top 10 goals and are kind of starting to write down some of those connection points, we're going to consolidate those down into your top 3, okay? And part of the way that you want to do that is really evaluate what's most important to you. If it might help to kind of picture yourself at the end of next year, like what would make you feel really good, like you really accomplished something in your writing business. And what are the things that would be nice to accomplish but aren't necessarily the top priority? Okay, so part of the important part of setting your goals and making them specific and clear, and I'll talk more about that in a second, is also making sure that you know what priority your goals are, because there's always going to be so many demands on your time and your resources. So when those decisions come up, you want to make sure that you know already this is the decision that I'm going to make when you have a conflict with your goals. Does that make sense? Okay. Do we have any questions so far? You guys doing all right? Like I said, feel free to throw some comments, throw questions in the comments, or just give a holler if anything's not making sense. Okay? So your top 3 goals, go ahead and post that in the comments for me. Like I said, this is interactive. So post your top 3 goals for this year, and we can take a closer look at those. Okay? And I want you to rank those top 3 goals. So what's the most important? Okay, what's the one thing that you want to accomplish more than anything else? Again, maybe this is something like publishing a book. Maybe this is increasing your mailing list to a certain number. Maybe this is finishing a certain project or accomplishing something in that way. Those are all great things. Just narrow those down and prioritize those top 3. Okay. How does that feel? Do you feel pretty good about that? Okay. So we're going to break this down a little bit even more, okay? So for the purposes of this live training, we're just going to take your top goal, so the number 1 priority, and then we're going to kind of break it down. You can do this with each of your top goals as well, and just start the process of breaking them down. So one of the ways that I like to do this is just to stop and to brainstorm and think through what are all the components that go into this? What are the things that really make this necessary? So, for example, maybe your goal is to self-publish your novel, okay? So what are the things that need to happen for that to become a reality? Okay, so you have to finish your draft. That's a big step. You have to send that manuscript to your beta readers and get feedback, or maybe it's a critique group. that's also something that's going to take some time because you're going to have time to read that and bring you back some comments, okay? So make a note of how long that's going to take. You need to revise your book, okay? So those are making changes based on the feedback that you've received from your critique group and your beta readers. Then once you've made that manuscript as the best that it can be, then that goes to your editor. And usually, just by way of perspective, I usually allow a couple months. Sometimes it's a little bit less, sometimes it's closer to 4 to 6 weeks for an 80 to 100,000 word novel for a developmental edit. So just kind of keep that number in mind as you're planning that your preliminary edit is going to take some time. So it goes to your editor, comes back to you with notes, then you revise it. Then you have things like proofing, cover design, maybe you're doing a blog tour, maybe you're doing a launch party, okay? So look at your number one goal and think about what are all of the things, the components that play into this, okay? And the reason we're doing this is because unless you know what actually practically needs to happen, you can't start actually assigning those tasks and making them measurable tasks and goals. Okay? You following me so far? Okay. All right, so once you've made your list of what's it's going to take to actually accomplish that goal, and keep in mind as well, this is just kind of an aside, but keep in mind that these need to be things that you can control. Okay? This part's really important because there are certain things that are outside of your control. You can't make an agent sign you. You can't force someone to buy a book, right? But there are things that you can do. You can work on your pitch. You can work on your presentation. You can, do editing and critiquing and everything that you can do to make your manuscript a really great quality manuscript. So when you're making your goals, focus as much as possible, especially when you get down to kind of these more detailed goals. Focus on what you can actually do, okay? Otherwise, you're just going to frustrate yourself because you're setting goals that you can't actually accomplish because it's not in your power to accomplish those things, okay? So save yourself some trouble and heartache there as you're kind of breaking those goals down. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start by breaking it down by quarters. Okay, so conveniently, our year is divided into 12 months, and every 3 months is a quarter. So what you're going to do is you're going to look at those steps that you just mapped out for your main goal that you want to accomplish. And you're going to look at the time it's going to take to accomplish each of those steps. And then you're going to start assigning quarters, okay? So, for example, you might say, my goal is to finish the rough draft by the end of the first quarter, okay? Which would be March, or the end of March, rather. And then you might say, my goal is to have it to my editor by the end of the second quarter, to have comments back from my editor by the end of the second quarter, something like that. So take some time and just write down what each of those quarters is going to look like to be able to get all of those things done. And some of them can overlap and some of them can't, so keep that in mind as well. While your manuscript's at your editor, you can be working on setting up your blog tour, getting your cover design done, increasing your mailing list, all of these kind of things. So think strategically about this and what that timing is going to look like. Okay, makes sense? Okay. And as you might have guessed, you can continue breaking down this process. So once you kind of are breaking down your goals by quarters, you just keep on going down. So what do you need to accomplish each month to make that possible? What do you need to accomplish each week to make that possible? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. On you go. You get what I'm saying. But and the reason is this is really important, is it allows you to be able to get accountability for your goals, and to also always be able to refer back when you're feeling lost or you're like, I'm not sure what to do next. You can always refer back to this, and it kind of provides a guiding point for you as far as this is what I want to accomplish, and this is what's necessary to make this goal or this dream a reality. Okay? All right. And don't forget that you need to prioritize those goals as well. Okay? So it's not, you can't just make a list of these are all the tasks that need to happen. You also need to prioritize that as well, because inevitably some things are going to take longer than you think they will, and you're going to have to overlap some things. So this is why I really encourage you to have one primary goal and secondary goals and kind of tier it that way, so that you're not feeling stressed trying to do all the things at once, but you know if something's got to give, this is what needs to give, so that you can really focus. And it may seem like you're getting less done when you're focusing, but actually it's really going to help you be able to divert very limited time and energy resources into the change that you want to see happen the most. Okay? Making sense for everyone so far? Okay. All right, so I'm going to open up just to some Q&A. So if you'd like to go ahead and post your goals, you can feel free to do that. If you have questions or just would like some feedback on your goals, now is your chance for that. So go ahead and just post those in the comments. One of the things that I'm sure you're probably thinking as you're writing down these goals and as you're thinking about 2018 and what you want to accomplish is, where in the world am I going to find the time for all of this, right? That's a big struggle, I think, for everyone, especially for women author entrepreneurs who are often wearing multiple hats. So next week, we are going to be talking, next Wednesday, we are going to be talking about time management and how you can identify some of those areas in your life where you're not making the most efficient and effective use of your time. And also just some further digging in a little bit deeper to how you prioritize your goals so that you can make the most of the time that you do have. All right, do we have any more questions? Making sense so far? Okay, great. So one of the things that I also wanted to share with y'all tonight, I know this can seem kind of overwhelming as you're breaking down your goals. You're not sure if, you know, this is something that's really feasible, or if your business is headed in the right direction. You're feeling like you don't really know where to start. And I know that feeling. I have been there. Believe me, the struggle is real. And I get that. So I wanted to offer you all the opportunity to bounce your ideas off of me, to receive feedback on your goals, and to just really make sure that you are super crystal clear with where you want to go next year, and what you want to see happen in your business. Because if you are not super clear on your plan and your goals and what you want to accomplish, it's not going to happen, because life gets in the way, you get busy, there's other demands on your time and resources, and it just falls by the wayside, right? But that's not what we want for you and for your business. Okay. So one of the ways that I want to help you with that is I am offering goal setting coaching for 2018. Super excited about this. It's going to be a great opportunity for you to get personalized feedback in your goals, and to make sure they're super clear, make sure they're in alignment with who you really are and what you want to see happen in your life and business. And so there's going to be a couple different options with that. There's going to be the premium package, and that's going to be a 90-minute coaching session So that'll be live video, chance to pepper me with questions and discuss things that you're concerned about, just making sure you're going in the right direction with your business, followed by 30 days of email support. So I don't just give you lots of goals and leave you hanging. That's not my style. But you have an opportunity to create those goals and then receive accountability over the next 30 days to make sure you start off the new year in a great way. And I know that is what you really want to see happening in your business. That's going to be $97 until December 21st for that 90 minutes of coaching plus the 30 days of follow-up and accountability. And then I'm also offering a light package, which is 1 hour of goal setting coaching, just to make sure that you're clear and ready to make the most of 2018. And I will be posting the details on that as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to post those in the comments or message me and find out more information about those offers as well. So thank you so much for joining tonight. I really enjoyed getting to chat with all of you. If you are joining later and didn't get a chance to join live, please feel free to go ahead and post your comments and your goals in the comment section, and I will reply to those and get back with you as soon as possible on that. Well, hope you have a fabulous evening and that you are ready to go make the most of 2018. Take care. Have a great night.